Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast with your host, Hannah Hermanson, bringing you real-life stories of people who realized their dreams to educate and inspire you to create your legacy of abundance now.
Welcome back. Today, I am with Ann Havenwood. She teaches coaches, experts, and service providers current online marketing and sales strategies to close the right clients anytime they want. She's regarded as a top authority in digital marketing, sales coaching, and online publishing business strategies. Ann has been named Top 50 Must-Follow Women Entrepreneurs by Huffington Post. She has also been named Chief Sexy Boss from her Amazon bestseller book, Sexy Boss, How Female Entrepreneurship is Changing the Rule Book and Beating the Big Boys. And others call her the wizard behind the curtain. So in 2006, she started, developed, and grew an online information marketing publishing company from ground zero to over 1 million in sales in less than 12 months. And then in 2010, she started and grew an online newsletter publishing company from 0 to 1 million in online sales without a product. In 2015, she did it again. From 0, grew a weight loss supplement company to 1.5 in sales in 18 months. So Heather, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we were just joking about how many H's there are. We got Heather Havenwood, Hannah Hermanson. You're in Houston. I'm on H Street. Is it happy hour?
Right. Yeah, and I love that. And I call it H to H marketing. So that's kind of my philosophy around. So I love it. I love the HH. Perfect.
Yeah. So actually, let's dive in there. Yeah. Well, tell us about this H to H philosophy. I'm super intrigued.
So this is the philosophy, right? So let's just start with the basics. It's called this thing called the Bible. I've probably heard of it. Number one read book in the world of all time. And if you open up the Bible, believe it or not, faith or not, you can understand the stories, right? So we can understand that because human beings haven't changed that much. I know technology's changed. We have Facebook and Twitter and text messaging and AI, but at the end of the day, we as human beings haven't changed. We still buy for the same reasons. We still fall in love for the same reasons. We move towards something for the same reason. We move away from something for the same reasons. We as human beings have not changed that much. So I believe that brands, the biggest thing that's missing with the brands is the influence side, because at the end of the day, people buy people, not brands. Right? We really do. We really buy people. We don't really buy into brands. Even if you look at big brands like Nike and McDonald's, like big, they still have to have that human element. If not, we don't really want to buy a logo, right? We buy a person that's either next to it or behind the logo. So it's H to H marketing. And that's hard to conceptualize at this point. We've swung so far to one side on the digital side that people forget that it's H to H marketing. It's not digital to digital marketing,
So human to human.
It's human to human. Yeah. It's heart to heart. It's so that's the philosophy. And I've kind of created an entire master map I call the IDOM. The dominatrix DOM is what I call it. But influencer is basically influencer dominatrix master map. And it's really about how do you become omnipresent, either your brand or yourself, depending if you are the brand. How do you become omnipresent online, the digital world, so that you can move people from digital to H, which is heart to heart, right?
Heart to heart. Yeah. And so let's take a couple of steps back here.
Yeah.
I'm super curious, your intro and your bio, you have had quite a varied career, successful career. Yeah. So how did you get here? Have you always been a marketing wizard behind the scenes, selling lemonade as a kid, or
yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I did one of my first jobs was a newspaper route. That was many years ago, but many years ago. And then I got into, I had a job when I was 16 in restaurant business. I think everyone needs to be a waiter. Everyone needs to be a hostess. Everyone needs to be in that cook or something in that space, honestly.
Scoop ice cream. But I have to sing a song every time someone gives you a tip. That was my first job.
Yeah, really. I mean, you learn the art and science of sales when you're 16, right? When you're basically having to give good service and asking people for money. I mean, it really does create that concept of sales very young. But I did start in corporate America and outside sales at a very young age of 24, 25. I did very well there, actually, against all the odds. I was the only female in the business-to-business sales department in the entire office. And then I was number one in the country in 4 years. So I beat all the big boys. Hence my book,
yeah.
Sexy Boss. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's how my book Beat the Big Boys kind of came about, because it was about my process of constantly beating the boys, but then constantly getting what I call hit afterwards. Every time I beat the boys at their own game, something would happen. Like I either got fired or let go. So it's almost like men are like, oh yeah, we'd love for you to play, but don't beat us.
Just don't win. Right.
Yeah, don't win. Like you can hang.
Stroke our ego.
But you're not allowed to win. So
yeah.
Oh, you're cute. You know what I mean? And it's happened a couple of times. It's happened to many times in my life. But it's also created what I call calluses in my hands, meaning, a thicker skin, if you will. Right. And I just understand when to compete and when to understand how to win in the right places. So it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And that's what your book outlines.
Yeah. Sexy Boss is like kind of personal story and the personal mindset I had to create and develop to be able to be where I'm at today.
So what was that launch from corporate to entrepreneurship for you?
Well, it wasn't very smooth, right? I wouldn't say it's smooth, and it wasn't something I was thinking I wanted to do, right? I was really taught, I was born and raised in Houston, as you said earlier, and I was taught at a very young age, my job is to do 3 things in life: marry a rich man, have lots of babies, and always look good. That was what I was told to do,
Okay.
Southern Belle. I was not supposed to go into corporate America and be the big boys. I was not supposed to start a job. My mom freaked out a business. My mom freaked out when she found out that I was an entrepreneur. She literally had my uncle call me, who my uncle never calls me. So my uncle called me. So I'm thinking someone's died, right? It's like, okay, uncle called you. There's a funeral coming. So I answered the phone. This is like back in 2002 when I first started my first company. And he said, your mother's called me. And I went, okay, is she okay? Yeah.
Should I sit down?
Right. I was like, is she okay? He's like, no, he's fine. What's wrong? Well, she called me because she's freaking out. I'm like, well, why? Well, she told me that you're going to be an entrepreneur. And I went, yeah, aren't you? He's like a big time real estate guy, big time. Like he's very successful. And I go, yeah, aren't you? He goes, yeah, but I'm a man.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, women aren't entrepreneurs. I'm like, really? Okay. Thanks for the support. So, and that's why my mom was freaking out. And so what's my point? My point is that it wasn't a very smooth transition. Definitely wasn't supported. My uncle still doesn't talk to me. He's still alive, but he doesn't talk to me. That's who he is, right? That's just kind of his personality. But I actually, quote unquote, do have a rich uncle. I just never talked to him. I think my uncle's really, really rich. I really think he is, but I don't know. I think he just doesn't talk to the family anymore. But yeah. But anyway, my point is that I wasn't supported to be an entrepreneur at the beginning.
Yeah, I think so many people can relate to that, whether it's just that's cute. Once again,
that's cute. Yeah.
Side hustle. Good for you.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Or it's the blatant, like, I think that's unsafe and I don't want to get behind that. And I can't even, participate or support in any way. So
I had someone ask me recently, like 2 weeks ago, I'm working with this young copywriter. I'm kind of mentoring her an accident. It was kind of an accident thing, but she said, how do you do what you do? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you're so able to risk. How do you became so risk adverse or something? She said something like that. And I looked at her, she's pretty young and she's like 28. And I said, I don't really think of myself as risk averse. I just do what I do. Right. You know what I mean? So my point of that is I asked her a couple questions. I found out that she grew up in a very, very non-entrepreneurial setting. Right. So I said, well, you've got a lot to overcome because you were taught that entrepreneurship and capitalism is wrong in her setting. I was like, you've got a lot to overcome in your mind, but it's possible. There's a lot to overcome. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to say, I'm a capitalist.
And money is good.
Money's great. Yeah. And then for some reason, all the big capitalists like Jeff Bezos all of a sudden goes Democratic. I'm always like confused by that. I'm like, what? Anyway.
Yeah. So you followed your heart in some way, or you know, kind of chased what you felt was right and good for you. And you started founding huge companies. What was that era of your story like, you know, building $1 million companies in?
Well,
Yeah.
I was building $1 million brands. I've done it now 3 times. And I like building. I'm a marketer I'm really so who I see myself as is an entrepreneur first and a businesswoman second, and then a marketer. So I just build stuff, right? So I take things and I sell them. I do very well at that. So like my last company that I did, I was dating a guy and he had this thing sitting in the closet and he kept talking about it. He called it this laser light thing. I'm like, okay, what is it? So he's like, okay, we'll lay down. And I did. He's like, okay, you're going to sit there and be going to lose inches. I'm like, well, whatever, you know? So he did the before and after, and I lost like 3 inches. I'm like, what? You should be like marketing the hell out of this. He's like, yeah, but he didn't know how to market it. You know, he bought it. He didn't market it. So, I created a name under it called Skinny Beam, and I created an entire company around it. And then we blew it up between 0 to 1.5 million in sales, because here's the key. That thing was sitting in the closet for like 6 months, right? Before it was just sitting there because he didn't know how to market the thing.
Right.
So it's all about how you market the thing. There's a thing called Chia Pet. I mean, whoever made Chia Pet's millionaire. It's all you market the Chia Pet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about the thing. It's about the marketing of the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to do.
Yeah, there was another podcast episode with my friend Paul, and he talked about how every business is a marketing business, right?
Like every business is a marketing business.
Pool noodles and Chia Pets,
right?
And
dentistry, lawyers, chiropractors.
So
why is one chiropractor more than the other? Go ahead.
Yeah. So how does someone go from like the idea or the willingness to step out on the entrepreneurial branch and start to build a brand, even if they don't have a product, right? Like you said, some of your businesses haven't been product based. So how do like coaches and consultants and service based people start to build the need and the awareness around what they do?
So here I start with the triangle. So imagine there's a triangle. Okay, like if you want to take a piece of paper and put a triangle, and there's 3 points of a triangle. Okay, so this is what I work with my clients on, and they have to have all 3 points to really have something to work. So the 3 points are message, one is market, and one is media. All right, so let's go down to 3. So what is your message? Right. So what actually is the message to the market? So some people say message first, market second. Some people market first, message second. It depends. But what is that message to the market such that they're going to purchase or come towards you at least, right? If you don't have a product. The market is like, who are you going to talk to? Who are you going to focus on? Mm-hmm. I say go niche broad. Niche broad means you're niched, but not super niched. So don't go, a half an inch wide and 10 miles deep. Go like 2 inches wide and 10 miles deep. But what you don't want is everyone, which is 1,000 miles wide. So then what's your market? What's your message to your market? And that can take a while. Those 2 pieces, what's your message to your market, message to market. And then the third piece, which everyone loves to go to first, is the media. So what's the media? The media is like, we're doing Facebook ads, that's a media. Right? Doing podcasting, that's a media. Mm-hmm. We're doing billboards as a media. We're doing full page ads in a magazine as a media. People are so quick to do that.
Yeah, the outward facing.
Their message to market. So it's like, I focus a lot on the message to market first and then go, okay, what's the best media for that message to market? You go backwards. Yeah. So a lot of people they do that and they don't look at the whole picture.
Right. Yeah, I always talk about just throwing paper airplanes at people. They never land actually. They just kind of blow away. So tell us more about this going 2 inches wide, the niche philosophy that you have, because, we hear if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, and the riches is in the niches. But how do you help people identify the difference between 2 inches and 1.5 inches wide?
So that's a great question. So I always tell people, 1 to 2 inches wide and 10 miles deep, that's where the money is. And I agree with you, riches in the niches. It's just like, I agree with that statement. I do. And there's like caveat to that. What does that actually mean? So when I look at a client or even myself, or let's say the Skinny Beam, that was a great one because it was easy. he was trying to market it to men. I'm like, forget that. You want women, right? Women to 40 to 50, right? That's the market. Boo. I said, you're going to get men, but how you get the men is through the women. So we would get men, but the men would be like, I'm here because my wife told me to be, right? So you got to be clear on that. And so we're talking on Valentine's Day. I'm not sure if this is going to come out, but and I love the fact that a lot of times, a lot of the marketing on Valentine's Day is actually geared towards the women.
And the men are buying it. Yeah.
Yeah, the men are buying it. Like, I want that, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Or in my gym right now, in what I call the bathroom stalls marketing, right? Which is always awesome. They, in the women's bathroom stalls with all the marketing they have, and those are pretty kind of expensive because there's limited. So there's a higher expense to that. Is the testosterone low T centers here in Austin. Why would they be marketing the women? Because they know the women are the ones like, yo, babe, like things aren't good over there. Like, here's this number. They actually have a study around that, like between like 70 to 80% of the call-ins for low T are from women setting the appointment for their husbands or men. Right? Cologne, men's colognes bought by women.
Yeah. So you need to understand who is taking action in the market.
Yeah.
Like,
So men's cologne. It's like, I think the stat of men's cologne is literally like 80, 90% of the buyers of men's cologne are women and going, buy, wear this or go thing tomorrow 10, right? Because men won't take that action. But you'd think it'd be geared towards men buyers, but it's not.
I love this. It's a very different way of approaching or just having a mindset of market research, because I know a lot of people who are like, well, this is my passion. I'm just going to put it out there. And as I've gotten deeper into the business and marketing world, it's like, that's great, cute, good starting point. But like, what need are you filling? What piece of the market and what is the message? And now I really, I'm going to be asking this question to myself and clients. It's like, who's taking action in this market? That's huge.
Right. Great. Yeah, who's taking the actions in the market? And I love the low T because it's very counterintuitive. I'm sitting there and taking a pee or whatever, and I'm staring at this like low T offer. Is your man low T? Does he have these symptoms? You're like, this is so brilliant. Because the women are the ones who see the men foggy and all these different. They see it. Women see it, right? Men are like, oh, I just don't feel good. It's like, well, it's because your T's. No, honey, I'm just tired. No, you got low T. Fine, I'll call the number for you. I'll just make an appointment. You just show up. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to really define who actually is the real market.
And what is the message for them? Yeah, is it the fogginess? Okay. So I do want to make sure we get a little bit of time to talk about sort of your influencer and your omnipresence methods when it comes to that media corner. So walk us through how we become, an influencer with our brand.
Yeah, so there's a whole concept of, for a long time, was be the authority, be the expert. And I agree with that, but the next level and where we're at today is really understanding that people buy people and heart to heart. Why influence marketing is so critical, either you being an influencer or as a brand, you're buying into influencers, is because a couple of reasons. One, ads. So let's say you go to a blog or, like a big one, like a CNN or Fox News or USA Today or something, like a big newspaper or Huffington Post. You have the content, right? You're reading the content, the article, but then around the article is like all these ads, right? So the ads are constantly competing against the content. So why not just be the content? Well, that's how you tap into the influence market. So the influence market is really understanding that it's being a content creator. So I have this thing called the IDOM, which is the Influencer Domination Master Map. And it's understanding how you actually become an influencer or your brand become an influencer with only 4 hours a month, right? So 4 hours a month, which is 4 30-minute podcasts. How do you take that content like you're doing right now and distribute it in such a way where you're what I call omnipresent online? You're dominating an industry. So you're dominating a particular message so that people are constantly attracted to you to come towards you with their message brand, right? That's the master map. And that's the critical piece of where we're at today. Because here's what it all comes down to, okay? We, as humans, are paid for our value in the marketplace. Now, we as human beings haven't changed that much. However, our marketplace value has changed. So in the 80s, it was different than the 90s. It was different in the early 2000s. right? So let's just take an example. If you're a carpenter, okay, or a blacksmith or a carpenter, your value in the marketplace today is lower than it was, let's say 20 years ago. Now it's developers. They have a huge value in the marketplace because they are AI developers, specifically blockchain developers.
Okay, right.
So the value in marketplace alters over time. So you got to get that, understand what's the value in the marketplace. We're paying for our value in the marketplace. What does that look like online as an influencer? Content is king, right? But engagement is queen. And in my world, the queen is over the king because so you have to, but the queen, the engagement, if there's no content, there's no engagement, right? Chicken for the egg. So you've got to create content. So that's the whole point. If you're paid for your value in the marketplace, this is Jim Rohn's 101. How do you make value in the marketplace? And that is where we're at today is content, massive content, not like content, like massive content. That is really the value we're paying in the marketplace today, right? Look at Gary Vee, some other people, even Kim Kardashian. Like I got that, who knows what she actually does, but she is a value in the marketplace.
It's brand, yeah. So when you say massive, do you mean volume?
No, because I take 4 hours and I make it massive. So it's all about the understanding of how to not just repurpose it, but repurpose it in the right way.
Right.
So that people can come towards you, so you can dominate, so you can influence, dominate, master map. So that's the key. That's like the message. No one taught me this. I had to figure it out, So this is after years and years and years of like doing it wrong. I've now like developed this master map that I now teach people or do for them, depending on the client, right? We do have a program that's done for you, but most of them come to me and go, how do I?
Right, because this, and like you said, through the eras, these skill sets of like understanding the message, media, and marketing, that principle will apply. Yet we're now in this era where information overload is a real thing, and we're on 7 different screens at one time, and we are now trying to figure out, how do we position ourselves as the content, as what they're looking at, as opposed to just buying a TV ad because everyone's just looking at one screen. So I'm guessing that this domination philosophy or this process is something that can be applied and used throughout the ages as we come to understand new ways of marketing and reaching that heart-to-heart connection. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely, you got it. It's the key is what's your value in the marketplace. So if someone's like, well, I want to create a passion project, it's like, awesome, but what's the value of that in the marketplace? I know that's a harsh concept, right? But it really is true. What's that value in the marketplace? Not what you think is valuable. What is it valued in the marketplace?
Right. Awesome. Heather, so many great new market research and techniques that you're sharing with us. We are coming to the close, and I just have 3 last questions, kind of in a pop quiz style. Are you up for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1 is, what is one thing you want listeners to do today, an action that will get them closer to their dream life and business?
Do a video every day online.
Yeah. Good practice to be in, for sure.
Yeah.
Question number 2, if you could hand every listener a tangible gift, maybe it's a book that changed your life or a resource that you really think everyone needs, what would you be handing listeners?
There's a book called Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn.
Yeah. Classic. Okay.
Classic.
I like that one. Yeah. And the last question is, where can people stay connected with you and learn more about what you do?
I have a website, heatherhavenwood.com, but the best place is go to askheatherann.com. That's askheatherann, A-N-N, no E.com. And what that is it opens up into my chatbot and my Facebook Messenger, so you can talk to me right there.
Very cool. Another great way to be creating an omnipresence is with those chatbots.
Yes.
Good stuff, Heather.
Yes, but I'm there. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time, your energy, and all of your insights.
Thank you.
Listeners, we'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help make your dream life your real life. Until then.
You've been learning how to make your dream life your real life with Hannah Hermanson. To get the resources mentioned on today's show and to listen to past episodes, visit www.dreamlifeisreallife.com.